talk bill, we talk streets, we talk money. King Mr. TV.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. It's your boy King Mr. Man, right here on King Mr. TV, man. We live in the basement. You already know what's going on. And right now we about to react to this video, man, about the Cavaliers, the new Cavaliers, man, with James Harden and your boy from Ohio. If you didn't know, now you know. And your boy's a hardcore motherfucking Cavalier fan, Browns fan. So you might hear me talk about the Cavaliers and the Browns a lot. You know what I'm talking about? So right now we're going to go ahead and get into this video right here, explaining why the Cavs is them guys this year. Let's get into it.
The playoffs, maybe?
Correct. I do think that being intentional to start the games well, but also finish, especially in your first game, was huge.
I don't even know what she's talking about already.
What is James Harden historically his biggest knock, his biggest criticism?
The playoffs, maybe?
Correct. I do think that being intentional to start the games well, but also finish, especially in your first game, was huge. It wasn't just James Harden, it was also Donovan Mitchell, because a lot of eyes are going to be on Don as well. Because you make this move, you say, all right, you get 10 years older, but maybe that's better, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit more experience.
James Harden's second game as a Cavalier, Denver on the road, without Evan Mobley, the same Nuggets team that bounced his Clippers in Game 7 last season, a game where he scored 7 points. This time, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and a game-tying 3 with 32 seconds left. Cleveland won, and suddenly, this trade doesn't look so crazy anymore.
Harden now, leaned on by Hardaway.
First off, the trade didn't look crazy to begin with. Like, not in a bad way. Like, I knew as soon as they announced this trade, this was a fire-ass trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, Darius Garland, I love Darius Garland, but we don't get that much activity from Darius Garland, bro. Dude always injured. You know what I'm saying? It's like up and down, hot or cold, hit or miss with Darius Garland. You know what I'm saying? And for real, I ain't gonna cap. It's the same with James Harden, too. But at least when Harden is in there, I feel like we could damn near almost beat anybody. No kizzy.
James Harden goes to work, step back, back down, nothing called, but Harden buries the 3, and we're tied at 117.
The Cleveland Cavaliers just traded Darius Garland, the first real piece of their rebuild, the guy who was there before the hype, before the expectations, before the playoff runs, for a 36-year-old James Harden. Sure. At first glance, this looks completely insane. Another franchise panic move, the kind that sets a team back half a decade.
Real talk. I'm going to even say Darius Garland actually was the heart of the new Cavaliers. Like, going into the new, after the whole LeBron shit was over with, like, this new era of Cavaliers, that shit started with Garland. I ain't even going to cap.
But that's not what this is, because behind this trade is a countdown clock. Mitchell's future is uncertain. The roster had stalled and almost stopped being good enough a long time ago. Whether this works or not, everything just changed in Cleveland. Before we get into what Harden brings, you have to understand what Cleveland was actually dealing with. The Garland situation was worse than most people realize. Drafted 5th in 2019, Garland became an all-star before Donovan Mitchell even arrived. He was supposed to be the foundation, then Cleveland added Mitchell, and suddenly they had 2 guards under 6'3" sharing the backcourt. That came with real consequences. Last season, when Garland was on the floor, the Cavs posted a plus 9.9 net rating over 2,090 non-garbage time minutes. Offense was elite, nearly 10 points better than opponents. Defense was fine, nothing special, but solid. Here's where it gets interesting though. When Garland sat over 1,330 minutes, Cleveland actually got better. Net rating jumped to plus 12. The offense dipped slightly, but the defense took off.
Wow.
They were 7.2 points per 100 possessions better than opponents defensively. With Garland and Mitchell together...
That's the thing about the NBA nowadays. Like, they got all the analytics to sit up there and say, okay, my dude, when you was playing, we was winning. It don't matter how good you is. You could be somebody that's putting up 30 points, 40 points. They got the analytics to say, all right, when you was in the game, we was winning. When you wasn't in the game, we was winning. You get what I'm saying? And you came back in the game and we started losing. regardless to the fact that you was putting up 50 points, 60 points. Nigga, when you wasn't here, we was winning.
A plus 9.3 net rating. Garland alone, a plus 10.5. Mitchell alone, a plus 12.9. Every version of this team defended better without Garland on the floor. This season, the numbers got uglier. With Garland playing, Cleveland posted a 118 defensive rating. They were outscored by 3 points per 100 possessions.
Oh, trust and
the
believe
worst
these
mark
numbers
of any
played
Cavalier
a role
with at least 500
in
minutes.
that trade.
At
You
that
know what I'm saying?
point, the data was screaming. Garland had become a defensive liability, one of the weakest defenders, not just in Cleveland's rotation, but across the league.
No, I don't got
Then
no
there's the
lighter.
size issue. At 6'1" next to Mitchell, 6'2", Cleveland had a backcourt that history says almost never win championships. The Garland-Mitchell pairing worked in the regular season, they won games, the offense looked great, but when the playoffs arrived, it fell apart. Every single year, the same defensive weaknesses showed up again and again. For every boost they gave the offense, they created an equally big problem on defense. Playing elite playoff teams with two undersized guards made everything harder, and that imbalance played a major role in 3 straight postseason disappointments. And availability made things even worse. Garland
Hey, we trying to make a deep playoff push this year. You know what I'm saying? Like last year when we made it to the playoffs, niggas was thinking we was gonna make a deep push. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't even happen. Like to watch New York take it further than us, I ain't even gonna lie, it was sick, man. It was sickening.
injury history
The
goes back
Pacers.
years. Ankle problems in
man.
2021, a back injury in 2022,
I love the Pacers,
then
but come
everything
on, man.
piling up in 2023 with hamstring issues, a neck injury, and a fractured jaw requiring surgery and put him on a liquid-only diet. 24-25 was actually the healthiest season of his career, 75 games, but it still didn't last. A toe injury followed him into the playoffs, where he aggravated it against Miami. Even after off-season surgery, the issue carried into the 25-26 season and limited him to just 26 games. So when Cleveland's front office sat down for what insiders called an unemotional, no-excuses assessment in the weeks before the deadline, they arrived at the same conclusion anyone looking closely would reach. Then add the pressure of Mitchell's upcoming free
he gotta
agency.
go.
His contract could expire at the end of next season, creating real urgency. Mitchell loves Cleveland, he's said that, but he also wants to compete for
Right,
championships. And he'd be justified looking elsewhere if this team couldn't operate at the highest level. So the Cavs made one of the most polarizing trades in franchise history. Darius Garland and a second-round pick for James Harden. When you lay out the problem like that, the Harden trade stops looking crazy and starts looking like the only move that made sense. This is Harden's 6th team in 17 NBA seasons. He's 36 years old, coming off 2.5 years with the Clippers, and at this stage of his career, the question is always the same. How much does he still have? But here's the thing. Everywhere Harden goes, he still makes teams better. Cleveland believes he gives them their best chance to compete right now. Let's start with production. Harden's averaging 25.4
Before he
points.
even get into all that, I just want to say this. Like, I've been watching the Cavs games since Harden been here, and whenever I feel like, all right, this the moment where Harden need to take over and he need to score, or this the moment where we need to see what he worth. Hey, that man be coming through. That man be showing what he worth. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And 8.1 assists this season compared to Garland's 18 points. He led the Clippers to a 15-4 stretch over their last 19 games together. He's past his prime, sure, but he's still producing at a star level.
Right.
Last season, he earned MVP votes and made 3rd team All-NBA. More importantly, he's available. Harden played 79 games last season and 44 of the Clippers' first 47 this year before being rested ahead of the trade. Cleveland didn't have Garland for 25 of their first 51 games, and last year he missed 4 of 9 playoff games with his lingering toe injury. Then there's size. At 6'5" and 220 pounds, Harden immediately changes Cleveland's backcourt math. Neither he nor Garland is an elite defender, but Harden's frame makes him easier to hide in defensive schemes. Teams attacked Garland because they knew he couldn't contest bigger guards or wings. Harden can at least hold his own against most guards and even some forwards. That size matters on offense too. One of Cleveland's biggest problems earlier this season was a lack of rim pressure. No guard who could consistently get downhill and finish at the basket. Too much side-to-side movement, too many pull-up threes. The Cavs rank just 16th in attempts at the rim. Harden changes that immediately. He still has that rare combination.
I have to agree with that. I watched the Cavaliers. I watched the way Garland play. It's a lot of shooting up threes. And he barely be making them like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of throwing them bitches up there, coming down the court. Even in transition, this nigga will come down the court and throw up a three.
Of strength, touch, and stop-start control that lets him create angles and get to the cup. This season, he ranks 9th in drives per game at 14.8, sits in the 60th percentile for shots at the rim among point guards, and finishes at 66%, 71st percentile. That alone solves a major offensive problem. Then there's the pick and roll game. Cleveland hasn't been a heavy pick and roll team, but with two strong bigs and Harden running the show, that's about to change.
We definitely need Jarrett Allen to be.
This is a guy who's been one of the best pick and roll operators in the league,
moving with like
over
he
a
got
decade.
some strength.
You could see it in his debut win over Sacramento, 23 points and 8 assists. But the box score didn't capture half of it. He was consistently delivering the ball to guys rolling to the rim, whether it was Jarrett Allen, Jalen Tyson, or Craig Porter. He handled traps calmly, accepted pressure, and released the ball at exactly the right moment. By the end of that game, it was obvious. Cleveland were building a new system around Harden's pick and roll mastery. And the momentum carried over just 2 nights later against a much tougher opponent, the Denver Nuggets, on their home court. In a hostile environment and without key big man Evan Mobley, the new-look Cavs pulled out a gritty 119-117 victory.
Yes, sir.
Harden was once again a central figure, hitting the game-tying 3 with 32 seconds remaining and posting 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists.
And that's what I'm talking about right there when I said, like, watching him and it'd be like those moments where we need a star to make a move. You know, for sure we can trust Donovan Mitchell in moments like that, but Harden proved the other night that he's somebody that we can trust in moments like that too. When he hit that 3, the game was sealed.
Perhaps most impressively, he added 3 blocks, showcasing the defensive versatility his size brings. The trio of Harden, Mitchell, and Jarrett Allen combined for 76 points, proving they could carry the team to a win against the league's best. He also changes how teams defend Mitchell. With Garland and Mitchell both under 6'3", opponents felt comfortable sending aggressive doubles. They knew Cleveland couldn't always punish it. With Harden on the floor, doubling Mitchell becomes way more dangerous. You can't leave Harden open, and if you double Harden, he's going to make you pay almost every time.
Find him every time.
This season, the Cavs have lived and died by Mitchell.
And don't forget we got Merrill over there too.
+6.6 net rating. Without him, a -3.3. When Mitchell sat, the offense collapsed. Harden gives Cleveland a real engine in those minutes, a guy who can create good shots for himself and others on almost every possession. The real question is whether they can fit together stylistically. Cleveland plays a motion-heavy, transition-oriented system under Kenny Atkinson. Harden has thrived in slower, isolation-heavy offenses for most of his career. Somewhere, there's going to have to be a middle ground. Both sides will have to adjust. But Harden's done this before. He coexisted with Chris Paul in Houston, shared the floor with Kyrie and KD in Brooklyn. He knows how to play with other ball-dominant stars.
He always played with stars.
Atkinson isn't worried. As he put it, great players fit together. When you have high IQ players, it makes it a heck of a lot easier. Mitchell and Harden are already on the same page. According to Tony Jones of The Athletic and Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com, the two spoke at length the night before the trade was finalized. By the end of it, both were convinced this was something they wanted. Mitchell made that clear publicly. He told Fedor, "We all know what he brings, but with that, there is an expectation of what we have to do. We weren't able to get it done for the past 3 years, and now the goal is to try and get it done. This is the time, gotta go out and do it. Look, I know what you're thinking, and I'd be lying if I said this part doesn't matter. Harden's playoff history isn't pretty. Ever since the trade happened, his critics have come out in full force. And honestly, that's fair. Harden has never won a championship. Some of that comes down to bad luck and circumstances he couldn't control, but some of it is on him. Because
I ain't gonna lie, that's definitely something that I've been seeing a lot of. Like, since the trade been made and since we done won these last few games, you know what I'm saying? I've been trying to see what they talking about on ESPN and shit like that, and that's the one thing they keep on saying. You know, playoff Harden is a different thing. So And that's the reason why we got him there, so we can make a deep push. So we'll see.
As great as he's been in the regular season, he's built a reputation as one of the most unreliable superstars in big playoff moments. His career playoff averages of 22.5 points, 6.5 assists, 5.5 rebounds over 173 games.
Average.
On paper, that looks solid, but the full picture tells a different story. Game 7s are supposed to be when stars step up. For Harden, it's been the complete opposite. Last season against Denver in a win-or-go-home Game 7, he scored 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting. The Clippers got blown out. Harden was invisible. Since 2020, he's played in 4 Game 7s. In those games, 13.8 points on 27.5% shooting and 16.7% from 3. In the regular season over that same span, 23.5 points on 43% shooting and 36% from deep. That's not a small drop. And it's happened with Houston, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and the Clippers. 4 different teams, same result. It's not just Game 7s either. In elimination games in general, Harden has often gone missing. After that Denver loss, he didn't even speak to the media. He knew. But context is everything. While that playoff failure is part of his history, his first game in Denver playing for Cleveland told a different story. In a hard-fought regular season win, Harden was a key factor in beating the very team.
And that's another thing too. Like I'm pretty sure he see and he hear all the shit that everybody's saying in the media. You know what I'm saying? And so he want to prove to himself, I'm sure of it, and he want to prove all the doubters wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure motherfuckers was like, "You going to Cleveland?" Da 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 da. Yeah, I'm about to go to Cleveland and watch what I do.
That had previously eliminated him, finishing with 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. It was a performance that suggested that with a new system and a co-star like Mitchell, the past may not be a prologue. That reputation is earned, which is why Cavs president Koby Altman addressed it head-on. There's some elimination games that he probably wishes he had back. Probably 5 really bad games out of 173 playoff games. But overall, he certainly raises his level and raises our level. It's hard being the number 1 option on a championship-level team. I think the good news for him is he has another number 1 option right next to him. That last point might be Cleveland's saving grace. A healthy Donovan Mitchell taking the pressure away from Harden might be the key to Cleveland's postseason success. Is Mitchell the most talented teammate Harden's ever had? No, he's played with Durant twice, Kyrie, Kawhi, Chris Paul, all bigger names, but timing and health matter. In Brooklyn, Harden, Durant and Kyrie were never healthy at the same time when it counted. With the Clippers, Kawhi was mostly sidelined.
I forgot all
in Houston,
about that.
CP3.
I forgot all about that stint in Brooklyn, bro, with Kawhi. Durant and Kyrie. Harden. I forgot all about that shit in Brooklyn. That was a mess.
Was never the kind of explosive scorer Mitchell is. When those Rockets reached Game 7, Harden had to be the guy. In Cleveland, that won't be the case. His job is to organize the offense, control the pace, and keep Mitchell fresh enough to take over late.
Right.
That's a massive difference.
Yeah.
The Cavs still have Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, 2 bigs who should feast off Harden's playmaking. They've got Jalen Tyson continuing to emerge, multiple weapons designed to punish defenses when Harden draws attention. That matters when the pressure rises. It gives Cleveland ways to survive Harden's worst nights. But make no mistake, this is still a massive gamble. Cleveland's betting Harden will defer when it matters, that he'll trust Mitchell as a closer, that his ego won't get in the way. The Cavs are banking on this time being different. Like his Brooklyn days, he'll let the more electric scorer carry the load when it counts most. And Cleveland didn't stop with Harden. By trading DeAndre Hunter, Lonzo Ball, and 3 second-round picks, the Cavs also brought in Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. And suddenly, this roster looks very different, deeper, more balanced, and with more scoring punch off the bench. Schroeder is a proven vet.
Good defensive guys. Like watching them, Schroeder come off the bench and give a lot of defensive energy, and Ellis the same thing.
He's been traded 8 times, but that's never been about production. Teams view him as an offensive catalyst for the second unit. The Lonzo Ball experiment simply didn't work, the shooting disappeared, his 3-point shot fell off a cliff, and without elite athleticism anymore, he couldn't get to the rim. Schroeder fixes that. In Sacramento, he averaged 12.8 points and 5.3 assists. He can create for himself, create for others, and he brings winning experience. He led
Right.
Germany to both a FIBA World Cup title and a Eurobasket title.
Right.
Then there's Keon Ellis, more of a wild card. He's a 26-year-old, undrafted,
Defensive
fourth-year wing.
dog.
But the one thing you can count on is his defense. He ranks in the 95th percentile for blocks and 96th percentile for steals among
Steals.
wings. He's one of only 2 players in the league averaging at least 2 steals and 1 block per 36 minutes this season. He makes life miserable for opposing guards. Offensively, he's still developing, but he shoots it. He's hitting 41% from 3 for his career and 36.8% this season. That combination of defense
Yes,
and
sir.
spacing
I like him.
is exactly what
I like
Cleveland's
him a
bench
lot
was
over here
missing.
in Cleveland.
With Mitchell in his prime and the Eastern Conference wide open, Cleveland is sacrificing future stability for a real shot at winning now. Pairing 2 players with this level of production and
Yes,
experience
sir.
gives them one of the most explosive
Sir.
backcourts in the league. The message from this front office is clear.
We
They
wanna
chose
win
winning
now.
over waiting.
We wanna
Cleveland
win
isn't
now.
being patient anymore. They're going for it. This Harden trade is a declaration. Cleveland is telling the rest of the league they're serious about winning a championship. They're done waiting, done hoping things magically work out, done being patient. The pieces are finally in place. Now comes the hard part, because having the pieces and actually winning with them are 2 very different things.
And
So what do you think?
execute.
Do the Cavs have
Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. What do y'all think? Like, is the Cavs the best in the East right now? Do the Cavs got a good shot at, you know what I'm saying, getting that Eastern Conference championship? What y'all think? Let me know. Cause watching these boys the last few games, man, they looking real serious. I don't know who we got coming up on the schedule. Let's see. Let's see real quick. I always go to Google and type in Google. All right, hold on. Let's see who we got coming up. We got the Knicks coming up, Pistons coming up, 2 big games. Big games against 2 of the best in the East right now. So this right here definitely going to tell. And we got 2 of them against, hold on. Yeah, Milwaukee. We got Milwaukee coming up. New York, Detroit. Oh, we got the whole East. We got a whole Eastern, Boston. We got, look, Philadelphia. We got a straight Eastern fucking lineup coming up for the next rest of this month going into March. So that's enough games to see how we size up against the rest and the best in the East. So leave a comment down below, man. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know how y'all feel about the new Cavs. If y'all think James Harden is a good fit. If y'all think we're going to run away with the Eastern Conference. Or if y'all think it's going to be a bust. Let me know what y'all think, man. And that's that on that. I'm out.